Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We are doing the family hour around here. It's all brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. We got some Raven scratch-offs to give away. We're not giving any to her because she's not old enough. We will give them to you. We're at a Gunpowder Lodge. It's all brought to you by our friends at Goodwill. It is Halloween season. Get dressed up, get out, give to Goodwill. Make sure you're taking care of them and our friends at Window Nation. You buy two, you get two free. I'm looking out the window at the beautiful Gunpowder State Park here. We are at Gunpowder Lodge. Danny Santoro, who I've been known for about 25 years, super soccer star back in the day. He's got his Sonny Askew jersey here, and his beautiful daughter, Bella. How are you, Bella?
Good.
What do you do here? You running the joint today? Danny, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you.
Well, good to see you. It's I didn't know she was coming. You got like kids running the joint here,
yeah,
man.
no school today, and she came out and she's helping bus tables and. You know, she's holding everything down for us.
Well, she ran and got me some freshly drawn butter for that delicious lobster roll that you served earlier. Have you had the lobster roll here?
No.
What's your favorite thing to eat at Gunpowder Lodge?
The barbecue chicken.
Barbecue chicken. All right, so she's got a favorite.
Man.
What's your favorite thing, Dan?
I'm a wing guy, crab cake, burger, everything's good.
All right, she's going to go. We're going to talk about things.
All right, thank you.
There she goes. She wanted to wear the headset, too. So
Good job.
how are you,
Good
man?
job.
Good job. Thanks for having us out with the family plan here. Danny, you were like a soccer guy, man.
Soccer guy, yeah.
And you're still my size, which is my favorite part of soccer guys.
Right.
You, me, and Billy Ronson. We're
there you
always
go.
the same height.
God bless him, right? Billy
Well, I know
Ronson.
you through Billy, and I
Yeah.
know you through Kenny, and through probably Ben Neal.
Ben Neal.
Ben
yeah.
Neal in
Yeah,
Highland
the
Town?
Bays, Baltimore Bays.
How
yeah.
many years have you had Gunpowder?
2010, so we're going on 13 years, and, you know, things are going well.
Well, I'm here today because we're doing a crab cake tour, trying to get out the neighborhoods.
Right.
JR put a picture of the lobster roll up. He and I have been Facebook friends forever. At his other stops and other places he's been. Woody's here, all those places. And I saw that, and I'm like, I haven't been to Gunpowder, and you're on my list. Like,
Right.
your name is on, like, bar owners I know who
Right.
would have a crab cake where I could come out and have a crab cake and have a good time and a conversation. And I don't know why it's taking a year and a half to get out here, but I guess today's the right day to do it.
That's right. No, perfect
and it's
timing.
soccer time,
yeah,
right?
Soccer time. World Cup's right around the corner.
Well,
and
give everybody
we're
your
excited.
background. For those who don't know about your soccer career and why Sonny Askew would be on the wall and why the World Cup's the biggest thing going. And this is a weird World Cup this time of year,
Yeah,
right?
it's a little strange. I think everyone's getting behind it. You know, U.S. is excited about it, and hopefully they can do a little better than prior years, obviously.
02 was fun.
Yeah, right?
02 was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was good.
Half a
Semifinals?
lifetime. Well, I got to the 8, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Oliver Kahn, and we threw parties that year at the Hubcap Inn because those games were at 6 in the morning.
Right.
You needed to have a place that was open.
Right.
Literally with eggs and bacon and had a crew and a staff. Petey Carinci came out. I mean, it was nuts. You did a thing here the same time I did my Towson thing.
Okay.
You had a festival here
Oh, we had a
for
great
that
time.
England
USA.
US game.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Worst decision I ever made in my life, business decision, was to do that event. Comcast never paid the bill. Still owe me $10,000. I appreciate that, Comcast.
Sounds about right,
That's
though.
why I'm with Verizon.
Yeah, it sounds like Comcast.
So I never got paid, but we bought the television. I did it with Scott Westcoat.
Okay.
And it was the Argentina had played in the morning, and U.S. played England. You were the other party in town.
Oh, geez.
Now, you did that here?
We had the big screen coming out of the trailer outside. We had about 500-600 people here. I mean, we thought the floor was going to go through. I mean, it was just an amazing, amazing time. We're doing an event again for this one. Similar. We're going to have a big tent out there. We're going to have a ton
And that's Thanksgiving week, right?
So Black Friday. Day
Right.
after is USA England. That's the big match.
God, this is coming up
I
quick,
know,
right?
it is.
I'm watching a lot of baseball on Fox. I don't watch Fox, obviously, but seeing the commercials, they're getting the Christmas spirit, and they're getting the we're going to have breakfast and watch soccer. They're getting me vibed up because I don't know, 7 or 8 World Cups in for me, right? Of actively taking those weeks and saying, I'm a Ghana fan today. Come on, Sierra Leone.
Right,
You know,
right.
I don't even know where like Paraguay is, but I'm going to root. So there's a little bit of that goes on. But for people who love the game the way, I mean, you've lived your life in the game. And so many other people.
Absolutely.
It's a holiday, and this is the weirdest thing to be seeing we're going to do this at Christmas. We're going to do it in the morning. It's going to be 150 degrees. We know the mafia was involved in it, which is why it's there. We're not allowed to talk about that. But this is weird. The Qatar, all of it, it's a little body clock. Also for everybody involved in the sport that's going over there and playing.
Yeah.
If you were playing in it, if Santino were playing it,
that'd
it's
be
just
fantastic
it's,
if you,
it's
right?
weird, right? It's a
Yeah.
weird thing.
It is weird, and the big thing is think about the disruption just in all the other leagues. You know, the EPL, Serie A, all these leagues that, you know, their best players obviously are, you know, going to be over there playing in the World Cup.
Well, hockey just shut down.
Right.
The NHL just said, we're not going to compete with the Olympics. We'll just shut down.
Right.
You can't shut down for 5-6 weeks, and you don't know how long you shut down. You don't know if you're going to make the quarters. I mean, Italy always thought they were going to make the quarters till they found out they weren't.
Easy. That's our team.
I don't like them.
Some people don't. I think they're a little more exciting the way
I'm
they've
Italian
been.
and I don't like them.
I know, and the way they've been playing. But lately, yeah, they're
Buffon. Yeah.
Gigi.
So one of the reasons, here's my anti-Italian.
Uh-oh.
This is a true story. All right, it's my anti-Italian trope. All right, went to the World Cup in 06. So we went over to Amsterdam. We were over there a couple weeks ago, and it reminded me of seeing the Brazilian fans out on the canals. I mean,
Right.
Amsterdam for the 06 World Cup was a headquarters because it was cheaper, and there was drunks, you know, all the things that people would want to do in Amsterdam, but it's adjacent to Germany. So I went and stayed in Amsterdam. We based there, and we drove into Germany for the games.
Nice.
So the Gelsenkirchen game, when they spit it up and gave up 3 goals in the first 6 minutes to Czech Republic, I was at that game.
Okay.
Wearing a red, white, and blue.
Right.
Johnny Dow from Budweiser helped me out with that back in the day in winter distributing. So I went with Ken and Meg. We all went over. We went to Sweden, Trinidad, played 0-0. We went to that game in Dortmund, which turns out to be the town where a little boy was parking cars that day saved my wife's life. So German kid,
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
Dortmund.
wow.
He's from Essen, Dortmund area. So we had been to his hometown for the World Cup without realizing he was 10 years old, but later saved my wife's life.
Oh, my God.
Crazy story, 8
Right.
years later. So in 06, we're over there. I was in a restaurant in New York having dinner with my wife a month before the World Cup. It was a Rainforest fundraiser. Sting, Billy Joel, Sheryl Crow, James Taylor all played Carnegie Hall. After Carnegie Hall, my wife and I went to get dinner late night in New York. And you know, in New York, the tables are like you're right on top of
Right.
people, right? So we're there late, and this table next to us, they ordered this beautiful dessert. And it was like, looked like it was too big for 2 people. They ordered this sexy old dessert with the last couple people left in the restaurant. And we looked at their dessert and said something like, oh my God. And they're like, here, share it. We can't eat it. And we're like, no, we just had Italian meal. No.
Right.
But we started talking to strangers. Turns out the guy is an executive vice president of Philips, the television company, Philips, right? Big sponsors of the 06 games. 9/11 had just happened. He was running a firefighter contingent from all over the world for Philips. Philips invited firefighters who played soccer from every country that had such a thing. There were like 28 countries
Right.
involved. They flew them in on a junket to play soccer in Germany
How cool is that?
to bring the world together, right? He's telling me this story over some brownie fudge sundae, and I'm like, we're going to the World Cup.
Right.
We're going to stay in there. And he's like, do you want to go to the U.S.-Italy game? And I'm like, couldn't get tickets. Crazy. Could not get tickets. He's like, I have as many as you want. Just you need to be there.
Right.
You need to get to
Right.
Kaiserslautern, which is in the southern part of Germany near like Switzerland.
All right.
I happen to have a friend that lives in Zurich. Hit her. Say, can we get a free crash patch? Sure. We wound up going to Kaiserslautern for that game where
Wow.
McBride and the
Right.
headbutt, we were at
Right.
that game. In a stadium that Hitler gave speeches. It was built in 1914 on a hill in Kaiserslautern. Sort of the Lambeau Field.
Right. Unbelievable.
Right?
Yeah.
So we get tickets. We're center pitch, 5 rows off. I mean, like, unbelievable. And that day, the Italian fans had driven across the border, and it was all Italy fans.
Right.
I mean, it was an Italian home game in southern Germany. And the fans, I'll just never forget this, were waiting by a Johnny boy to go in, like little Bella's waiting on you right now. And we were waiting to go to a Johnny boy, and the Italian dudes were pushing the women out of the way
Oh, wow.
to get into a bathroom outside. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
Like, what part of the world would this be cool?
Exactly, right.
This would not be cool
No.
anywhere. So then after that, and then we tied, and, you remember the game.
Yeah.
And then they won the World Cup, and you were partying, Buffon, all that.
What a story.
Yeah.
Think about it. How it all just,
The
fell
hair
into
on the back
place.
of my neck would stand up. And I
Yeah.
had video of this. We got there really early at Kaiserslautern just to drink it in. They were doing warm-ups. The Italian fans had taken over the whole wing of the stadium. Like, the whole place was just rocking, and I'm like, whew, hair on the back of my
Yeah,
I'm like, I felt like I had. It was one of the greatest sporting events
Absolutely,
I've been to
absolutely.
28 Super Bowls.
And
And
this
I-
trumps it, huh?
I can remember everything about that.
Right.
Everything
right.
about it.
That's amazing.
That's the World Cup, man.
It is, and then that's why I think people are getting excited about it. And like you mentioned also with the advertisements, the TV commercials, they're good.
It's just
You know,
going to be
they're
different.
pumping people
It's going
up
to be
and-
different waking up on Thanksgiving that weekend and getting into the flow.
Well, hopefully
and if
you're
the U.S.
here.
beats England, right?
Right.
So what time? It's 9 a.m., right? It's
No, 2 o'clock.
They're playing 2.
2 o'clock.
Nine,
All
the
their-
other games are 9 a.m. There are other games that start in the morning.
Right, but all U.S. games are 2 o'clock, I believe.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
You're teaching me.
I think so. Monday's their first
Now,
one.
they're in Iran,
Yep.
Iran,
and then
Wales,
Wales. Yep.
Wales and England.
Yep. Yep.
That's
And
the group they're in.
So we'll have a tent all week, but the big event we're doing is the U.S. England, and there's
You know why I'm going to love this party? Because I'm not going to lose 20 grand doing it.
neither are we. Neither are we. We have some good sponsors.
I hope they pay you.
Well, it's all ahead of time. That was your mistake with Comcast, right? Get it up
all
front.
right, there
Get
you
it up
go.
front.
I like it. I like what you're
But
thinking.
yeah, we'll have a big tent. We're gonna have a pit beef style event, bull and oyster roast. So there's Jr., who we mentioned
Sure.
earlier, one of the most talented chefs in the area. Great food and all you can eat: pit beef, turkey, oysters.
Your place is so unique.
It is.
And it's
a cool
so-
spot.
Yeah.
It's warm. It's welcoming. It's sort of
It's a lodge.
but it pulls you in. It's like a neighborhood, feel, and that's what we went for in the beginning. And we have some good customers.
Well, your background's East Side, right? I mean, you knew a lot of people.
Well, I grew up in Reisterstown.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were East Side. I didn't know that about you.
Franklin High School. Then I went to Essex, and
See, I think
was-
of Essex. That's
yep.
where I think of you. I'm sorry.
Well, I was lucky enough. I think around 13, 14, I started playing with a lot of the guys that are from the city. Giuliano and his brother Anthony, Joe Bailey. A lot of these guys, and lucky enough.
Now, you older or younger than Stitz and Dieter?
Younger. They're a couple years older than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I played Little League with Stitz.
All right.
So he was on the Yankees, I was on the Orioles in Eastwood Little League in 1978, 79. So the baseball soccer thing, did you ever play baseball? Or were
I did.
you always a soccer family?
No, I played baseball, wrestled, lacrosse, basketball, everything, a little bit of everything.
Nobody does that anymore.
No, unfortunately. I think that's what ruins a lot of them.
I think of you as such a soccer guy, though.
Yeah,
Right? I mean,
thank
soccer
you.
was your
Yeah.
life.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't play. Eventually I got to where kids are nowadays, playing year-round at 7, 8, 9 years old. I didn't do that till I was probably a little older. So
But you have your little daughter, Bella, here, right?
Yeah.
Like, just an example. Was she 6?
6, yep.
She's 6 years old. She started the show with us. We're at Gunpowder Lodge, by the way. Danny Santoro is our guest. To have a 6-year-old daughter, to be you're a little older, the 6-year-old daughter. You have different kids, right?
Right.
But the notion that when you were in high school, let's say, that a 6-year-old girl at this point, the way the girls' game has grown,
Right.
the way the club has grown, that she could have a life in soccer in a way that maybe your kid's sister wouldn't have in 1990.
Right.
In
Definitely.
that way.
No, in that way, when you look at it and think about it, yeah, definitely. And the coaching has evolved as well. The coaches that the kids have now, they're so fortunate. My coach in high school was a golf coach.
Well, we always thought in this country they had some special sauce in Italy or Germany or Brazil
Right.
or England to
Well, they
train better, right?
Well,
Or-
they start younger, right? Then
And commit.
and
Yep.
the coaching was so advanced compared to here. But that's where I think we're catching up, and hopefully that keeps evolving. And but Bella doesn't even play soccer.
What?
Breaks my heart.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that's fine. But
Yeah.
she'll kick a ball before it's all
Nah,
over.
and she's talented. The ball sticks to her feet. She's fast, and she just doesn't want to play right now. She played 1 year, and
She's got too much personality to play soccer.
well, she's dance, so ballet, hip hop, gymnastics.
She's the most
That's what she's doing.
outgoing 6-year-old girl I've met in a long time.
She is. Yeah, she's
She's
a
got a
good one.
future as a maitre d' here. There's no doubt about that.
Hopefully she owns it one day. right?
So soccer and Gunpowder Lodge, you got a history, 13 years of being here. Tell me about that week for World Cup and what you're trying to accomplish that week, other than just the one big day on Friday. Because the tent will make it.
Yeah, tent will be here the whole week. Like I said, we have
And
some
the games
really,
are on inside the tent.
all the games. We'll have TVs everywhere. We have outside heaters. There's going to be a couple different bars set up. Shot bar, bomb bar. For the morning games, we'll have Bloody Mary, mimosa bars, crush bars. So just every little bit of something for everybody. And I guess the big thing is just we're a soccer bar. We have a great following.
I think of you as a soccer bar.
So the environment here is going to be special. And again, like I talked about a couple World Cups ago, and 600 people here. I mean, you could not. I mean, I'm getting chills now, like you were mentioning. I mean, just that right there, we thought the floor was going to fall in. I mean, people were jumping. I mean, lights were breaking. Beer was hitting the ceiling when U.S. would score. It was amazing.
Well, I hope we get that again.
We do.
And not making the cup, right? Before, bad. And then the Baltimore thing, the thing that happened here. And I thought of you. I wound up doing the show at Slancha that day. And, Terry Hazeltine, I'm still waiting to hear from him. But the fact that it felt at the moment 3 months ago like we were going to get games here.
Oh, everyone thought we were. I mean, why wouldn't we? But
the politics of all of it was, why would Washington help us?
Exactly.
And I tried to explain that to people, that we thought it was just a shoe-in thing. And I was tremendously I will be 4 years from now when the Cup's going on. And it's everywhere but here.
Right, exactly.
I'm going to say unacceptable.
It is unacceptable.
It's unacceptable.
It's very unacceptable. Think about the history in Baltimore and all the great players that have come out of Baltimore. And, we deserve it. At the same time,
well, we had the downtown area that really would have been, and all the crime out here. They have the Cup in Brazil. Don't talk to me about crime.
It's
FIFA's
everywhere.
not worried about crime.
It's everywhere.
FIFA's worried about getting players to the pitch on time, what the pitch is going to be like, and how much money it can generate.
Exactly.
And I really thought the Baltimore-Washington thing would have the Washington, in the way the Orioles did 30 years ago. They would have the club box buyer, they'd have sponsors.
100%.
And that the train from downtown D.C. to Baltimore, they looked at Baltimore as a suburb. We don't think of it like that.
No.
But they looked at it as, well, it'd be like having games in Arlington, Texas if we called it Dallas. It's 28 miles. It's not that far. It's a 30-minute train ride. We had hotels. The infrastructure, getting that wrong, and seeing other seeing those games being played at Gillette Stadium in the middle of nowhere in Foxborough 4 years from now, I'm going to be a little damaged by that. Because we're not going to get another shot.
No, and again, like you said, it's all politics, it's all money, it's all, But it's disappointing because think about how many games we've had here. Even the friendlies.
Oh, that have done well.
And, tickets go like that.
The first game when Ronaldinho came in down here, that was you couldn't get in for $200 to a friendly, and it was electrifying in the building. Every corner. Did you go to the Gold Cup games?
I think we went to one of them.
I was out of town when the Gold Cup happened. I was in Jamaica with my wife on a vacation.
Well, that's not a bad thing either.
Yeah, but I feel like I missed something. I followed it, and I felt like I kind of like missing Paul McCartney. You feel like you missed something downtown. I don't want to be that guy. Danny Santoro's here. He's at Gunpowder Lodge for about 13 years. All brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. By the way, I owe you one. There's one for you,
sir.
Danny. I got the ticket. Our friends at Window Nation, 866-90 Nation. They bring the Crab Cake Tour out on the road. And, of course, Goodwill, where it's Halloween week. We're making it happen. The Maryland Crab Cake Tour usually features just a crab cake, but the lobster roll sort of brought me in. Let's talk about the menu a little bit here and what you're trying to do out here. Because I asked you what you like. You're like, I like the wings. Sounds like that guy that went to Essex Community College.
Well, here's the thing. I did go to Essex, as you know. But our wings, we grill them, and we finish them in a convection oven. So they're not in a fryer.
I got to get the wings.
Yeah. So you get all the grease.
Okay.
We don't have that. You still get a crisp because of the convection oven. Honestly,
those are my favorite kind of wings.
The
grill wings are my favorite.
Wings are phenomenal. But again, everything's pretty much a scratch kitchen besides, a couple small items on the fryer. So everything's homemade. So again, the lobster roll, nice and fresh, right? Crab
Let's
cakes.
talk about COVID a little bit because I've talked to so many people.
Yeah, COVID messed everyone up.
You especially because nobody can walk here. You're literally.
We're a destination
You have
spot.
a uniquely beautiful, bucolic. My wife saw the pictures of the horses. She's coming back.
Yeah.
So, and you have to explain that to me,
I
why
will.
I saw the horses out here. But for every business, curbside, you can't curbside French fries. And part of curbside is they love you and wanted to support you. Hey, man, I turned my whole That's why I'm doing Baltimore Positive.
Right.
There was no sports to talk about, right? And it was more about how do I make sure Michu's is still going to be there when this is over with.
One of my favorites, by the way.
Right. I mean, like, I was in there with tears in my eyes saying to Jody, you can't take my meatballs, you can't take my marinara,
Right.
you can't take the movies outside, which you're looking to replicate, right? Like, you can't do all of that. And all of the local places, the ones that are, knock on wood, still around, there were loyal. There's a loyalty factor that you found out how important you were to your own community.
There is and there was, and we can thank them as much as possible. I mean, they did such a great job keeping us and other businesses going along. But like you mentioned, we are a destination spot, so it was harder for us. You know, we're not in a shopping center where people would go get some groceries and visit their local. You know, they'd have to come a little further, and they did, and it made a big difference. And you know, part of the reason we're still in business.
Well, you probably had a great outdoor experience here for folks when you could get it open.
When we could get it open, yeah.
Because you have space and
and that's what we did.
I mean, I see the tables down below. Were they always here? The tables?
No.
The tables came during COVID.
Yeah, we redid the patio. That was all grass, obviously. So we, framed it in and rocked it and put the bar up. And so yeah, outside has been, a blessing for us from day one. But obviously during COVID, it did help us out even more. So.
All right. Well, I'm going to get the crab cake here.
It should be coming any
minute.
minute.
I tell you what, man. For you with sports, and this has always felt like a sports bar. You talk about soccer bar, but for the Orioles this summer, I'm feeling you probably had a little bit more mojo than we've had for 5 years.
Absolutely,
here, right?
absolutely. We got a couple of the bigger Oriole fans at the bar right now, actually.
Well, they're ready for baseball tonight.
Yeah, but
I'm ready for my Padres.
Yeah, well, I like the Padres. But the Orioles were fantastic to watch. You got all this young talent, and I'm an underdog guy. I love when the underdog does well.
Well, they're not an underdog anymore.
I know that.
Next year, they're not going to sneak up on anybody.
No, everyone's gonna, they know what's coming. But it was so exciting to watch. The young talent, and my wife and I, when we were talking about it in the beginning, you saw Aaron Judge's contract that he turned down, and that one contract was bigger than the whole Oriole roster, pretty much, right?
Sure.
So for us, I was like, that's more, because I'm a baseball guy, but obviously soccer. But we watched as many games as we could, and it was probably the first time in a long time that I've paid attention to the Orioles.
Well, I mean, I've done this for 31 years, right? And I can't tell you, the first 10 years it was something, right? And then the last 20 years, other than 12, 14, 16 and a blip, it's never approached anything like what we had in our childhood.
Right.
Like literally in that way that everybody knows who the pitchers are, the players are celebrities.
Right.
You get tickets for a Tuesday night Twins game and you can't wait to get down there.
Right.
I miss that. I'm not wistful about it, thinking like it's going to come back. But this summer has given me a little bit of hope. A little bit of hope that Bella will want an Oriole hat 6 years from now when she's 12, and that there will be a different narrative. And part of that is seeing the Padres and the Phillies and the Mariners, these places where they haven't won, seeing what that looks like, feels like, smells like to those people. I saw it with the Padres last week, and I'm thinking, man, when we get 5 minutes of that Delman Young thing again, which has been 10 years now, that this city will appreciate that. And the bar stools in August and September next year and the next year and the next, maybe not April and May and June, whatever, but if they're meaningful Thursday afternoon games, it's going to impact your business.
Absolutely. And
I hope it does.
It does, and it's amazing how much further that bar business goes when the Orioles are doing well. I mean, it makes sense.
It's a missing ingredient
it is
from a sports bar
to
not have that May, June, July, August, September. Because it's gone away. When there's no hope in April, there's no nothing.
No.
There's no nothing.
No, it drops off. There's
this
zero.
year was the first time you smell next April might be fun. It's been a long time. I hope that they recruit you and recruit me, in some meaningful way that you'll want to run a bus trip down. You'll want to do a night down. Your daughter will want to go,
She went to her first game this year.
All right.
She went to her first Oriole game. She liked it, couple friends.
I have a feeling it moved slow for a 6-year-old girl.
It did. So attention span after a little while, her friends were.
Daddy, what's first base? What's a strike? What's a ball?
Right.
What's an out?
Right.
Can we go now?
Pretty much. But she got her Dippin' Dots and she got her pretzel and hot dog, and that's what it's about also. Seeing the Baltimore fans embrace the team, and so it was exciting. It was a good time for us.
See, you weren't listening to the show earlier, but when Sid got here, we were talking about my 1973 experience, 73-74. that the Orioles were in the playoffs against the A's. The A's were the first team I ever hated.
All right.
Catfish Hunter, Joe Rudy, Sal Bando.
That was my first glove.
Reggie Jackson.
Catfish Hunter.
Catfish?
Was my
I had
first
a Tom
glove.
Seaver.
Did you?
I had Tom Seaver.
All right.
So I go back to being 5 years old and what baseball has always meant to me. And I feel a little bit of that when I see Tony Gwynn's pictures and I see old Tug McGraw winning for the Phillies and I see the Joe Carter homer and I was at that game in Toronto that night.
Right.
So I want to love baseball again, but I want baseball to love the community back. It's
Absolutely.
been a long time since that's
Absolutely.
gone on. And that's always been your pitch as a soccer guy, right? That was always the pitch of Ed Hale, of Kevin Healy, of Kenny Cooper. Was always, we're going to be in your bar, we're going to be a part of the community.
Right.
We're not arrogant. We're soccer players. We don't even make any money.
Right.
Play for the Blast. You know, Barry, you're talking about Dieter, yourself, all you guys, PJ.
Man.
You guys all had to go get gigs and own bars and do things.
Absolutely.
It's a little different than what Lamar's in line for.
No, 100%. And it also it helped us make friends and contacts in the community that a lot of these contacts ended up helping myself and other people out with their careers that they ended up choosing after they played as well.
Ed here, you know, like in real terms, and Ed and I are, you know, lifer friends or whatever, but I was having a shoot interview with him. I'd say that first Mariner connection where you had Lance working at the bank and Tariq working at the bank.
Bunch of them.
Right, and like all those guys, and Billy's wife at the time worked at the bank. And so there was such a connection to, you're going to stand out in front of real people, and they're going to want to come and see you play soccer.
No,
because they're
absolutely.
going to care about you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
and I think that was a beauty of the Blast, and that's a beauty of why Pete Coringi and I are friends, even though I was never a soccer guy, right? I'm a guy who supported soccer because I understood what it meant to my dad to go to a Blast game and see Kenny Cooper.
No, and you know, Pete, obviously great guy as well, and Ed was always he always had the players' backs. You know, he always supported them, and so you know,
he wanted you to eat.
Well, he did, and he understood.
And soccer wasn't going to help you eat.
No, he understood, you know, what type of money was out there, and we did as well. And some of the guys did do pretty well, and they were at the higher level. But myself and some of the guys you named as well, we needed another job. I mean, that's just how it was. But
and banking showed you the world.
Banking,
help you run a restaurant.
Not me personally, but those guys, yeah. But that
But
being
it would
said,
help you run a restaurant.
lessons from soccer and Sonny, you know, my coach at Essex, the stuff he taught us about the game, and Sonny was like my first real coach.
Let's talk about Sonny because
could go on. That could be the whole.
Pete Coringi
couple
always talks
shows,
about Sonny, right? And your relationship with Sonny. When I say East Side, I think of you as an East Side guy,
Gotcha.
an honorary. Sonny's a legend. You have. I was kidding you about why you don't have a Stamankovich jersey on the wall here, but tell everybody about Sonny.
I met Sonny at Essex, and Pete actually recruited me to go to Essex, and then
I got this kid out in Franklin. He can play. He can play, Sonny.
The year I go, he takes the UMBC job. So Sonny, that was his first year coaching, and Danny Maskell was his assistant coach. And, I mean, both of them were great. But Sonny, I mean, like I said, I've taken soccer lessons that he's taught us, and I utilize them in the business world. Same concept, you know, everything we do here with
Teamwork.
our staff. Yeah, teamwork. It's a team, you know, oriented thing, and you gotta work together, and you gotta help each other. And but him as a player, as a coach, as a person, I mean, he's one of my favorites. You know, he's an idol of mine. You know, he's the best, hands down the best. I'll tell you a quick story. We were at Essex, and we're practicing, and we would play keep away, and it's a whole team, whole field, keep away, or even half field sometimes. And someone took the ball from Sonny. Now Sonny would practice in tennis shoes. Everyone else has cleats on. You know, he's in tennis shoes, so a little more slipperier for him. But someone happened to take the ball from him one time, and it was very rare that even happened. And this is Sonny going at 50%, right?
20 years older than everybody.
Easily, right?
Right.
So someone took the ball, and they made a sound like whoop, you know, like, you know, sort of insulting. And everyone's like, oh, you know, okay, oh, shit, here we go. So Sonny gets the ball a couple, you know, seconds later, and the guy that had stole it from him, he put it through his legs, pulled it back through his legs again, put it through his legs again. I mean, the whole team lost it. Sonny did one of those, just walked off the field. I mean, it was great because he just showed him up like
the student and the master.
It was such
an
an
easy. Oh, we got crab cakes.
Yeah.
Look out! Oh, look out! I knew they were coming. You got me two.
I did.
Who's going to help me eat this?
Oh, who do you think?
All right, you. All right.
No, not me.
No,
Take it home.
no,
Take it
man.
home.
So I did the crab cake tour, literally, a little full confession, knowing that I would never run out of places to go.
Right.
But I swear you were in the top 20 of my list because I just thought of places I drive by all the time that I know have a crab cake that I knew would be like sort of a comfortable place, and I knew it had a story.
Right.
I realized that during the plague, that especially if you're still here after the plague, the amount of blood and sweat that goes into the wall, same as my business,
Right.
Which has
trust
been
me.
under attack by the Ravens lately, as we well know.
Man,
so
for no reason.
yeah, for no reason. Like community and people getting together. That's what's
Absolutely.
That's what's made this work.
Absolutely.
That's what made the Orioles work when the Orioles work. That's what made the Ravens work in 1996 when they came here.
Right.
You know, and the crab cake thing to me came to me as something so local, and I've never had the same crab cake twice.
Right.
Everyone makes it differently. This one here looks to be broiled. Is this broiled?
Yes.
It looks lightly broiled. One of my favorite little techniques that I've learned here is taking the broil underneath and getting it crispy. I think they knew that. So the crispiness under the bottom, that's my thing.
All right.
So I like a fried crab cake,
Okay.
but I like
Oh, man, what's
this
wrong
is-
with you?
This is the best part. It's fried on the bottom
Right.
and broiled on the top.
Right.
So it's like a little party, a little business and pleasure.
I got you.
Going
To
there.
me, it's such a nicer taste.
Is
though.
JR going to come out here and talk, or is he
he's-
being camera
No,
shy?
he's supposed to come out.
I want to hear about the recipes. Get my man out here, man, and talk about this lobster roll we got to do. Now you're serving
JR.
You're serving me rice.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
No, I want to talk to him about this.
All right. Yeah, JR, it's
Long
funny.
range.
Funny story. You said everything. Every crab cake has a story. So JR, when we bought the restaurant in 2010 with the Steele brothers, JR was our chef, and a couple years later he went and did his other thing at different restaurants, and so we're lucky to have him back with us. So he just started actually a month and a half, 2 months ago. He's back with us, and things couldn't be better.
Now it was a real tragedy. We lost Scott.
I know.
So like, I knew him from years and years and many. I didn't realize he was a part of this in the beginning.
Scott, myself, David, and Marshall Forrester, and we had bought this place in 2010, and
What was it before? I mean, I remember
Timber Creek Tavern.
It was Timber Creek. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a shame what happened. Scott, and we miss him, and he taught me a lot about the business because this was the first. I didn't know anything about the restaurant industry. This was
We
my
left
first
a hell of
endeavor.
a legacy with
He did.
with all of these bars on this side of town.
Yeah, no, his brother and family still have a couple. Obviously, Sunset and Steelfish. And,
I had a few over at Sunset this summer with my wife. We
Yeah.
went out one night down in Middle River. You got to get down there and do that. So what would you say about this crab cake? This crab cake to me looks, I would call it country club crab cake because that's what my, I think it's going to be sweeter. I think it's going to have a sweeter slurry.
Okay, well,
Does that sound right?
It does. Well, let's see. What
So
you
if it's
think.
got a lot of Old Bay, I would call it more of an East Baltimore crab cake. I was at Costas 2 nights ago. I had the Crab Imperial over there. I'm going to be at Drug City. Drug City has a crab cake at the fountain.
Wow, didn't know
So I'm
that.
going to be there 2 weeks from today. We're also going to be at Greenmount Station next week, and they have a delicious crab cake up there.
I'm
in
curious
Carrollton.
to what you're going to say about
Well,
ours.
I have to taste it, and I have to stop talking to do that, and you have to start talking if I start eating.
First impression?
I was right. Sweet.
Yeah.
Very, very sweet. Nice slurry. I got a little parsley in there. I like that. That's nice. I don't have any celery seed yet, but he'll say there's no celery seed in it, and then I'll have one stuck in my teeth.
Well, it's his recipe. He does.
Well, that's why I want to learn about it. Where
great
is
job. He's hiding in the back.
He's
I think.
too busy making wings for people. Is probably what it is.
I think he is a little busy. I'm looking at him right now. He won't even pick his head up.
He won't look at us.
Nah, look at him.
I went back there a little while ago. He was cutting fish.
Yeah, he
He
does
was
everything.
cutting rockfish. You had salmon. You had rockfish.
A little bit of everything. That's what I'm saying. The menu he's brought here. So we do a regular fixed menu, and then JR does some chef specials as well every week, and they rotate.
I want to show everybody that crab cake there. That's on. We got people everywhere. It's happy hour. We're at Gunpowder Lodge. Well, if JR's not going to come out, then
don't
then
know.
you're going to have to talk about the recipe.
I don't know the recipe. He wonn't tell anyone the recipe, and that's a
He's
secret
doing
to,
that Guy Fieri thing.
He
He's
is,
avoiding me.
and I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't need to know it.
Right.
I
just know it's delicious.
It's fresh. It is delicious.
I know I'm going to eat 2 of them.
All his food is delicious. We had a prime rib on the special last week. What else? He had pork chops, honey glazed bourbon pork chops. We had a curry lo mein, shrimp curry lo mein. So
Are you 7 days here?
Yeah, 7 days, and he's very creative. Food's fantastic. I mean, there's some people that he has this following. and these people come out and they're like, "Is JR cooking? Is JR cooking?"
He's too busy to come on the show.
He is. Well,
That's
I
all
guess
right.
so. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
He sent me the food. I think this is good enough.
Good.
Stop on out, get a crab cake. We're at Gunpowder Lodge. It's all brought to you by our friends at Window Nation, 866-90 Nation. Find them. Our friends at Goodwill celebrating the biggest week of the year. It's Halloween week. Get out, do your shopping there, and do your gifting as well. And I had Lisa on the program this week talking about how they're giving back, and we're going to be doing Thanksgiving, Wednesday of Thanksgiving, when your tent is up. Well, we're going to be feeding 3,000 people down at the convention center with our friends at Goodwill, and I think Wise Markets is going to be involved in that as well. I want to thank Resig for coming out and hanging out and doing Tuscan Italy stories and talking about how much Bob Nussgart loves me. Also want to thank Nick Fisher from Wise Markets for coming out, doing a little pinch hitting for Brooke Learman today. And Danny Santoro, I didn't know Franklin High. I feel really, I feel ignorant and full of shame for not knowing that.
A lot of people think
the Mighty Indians
think I'm a curly boy, and
I just thought you were Highland Town, like all the rest of them.
Nah. But I was lucky enough, like I said, to play with them. I have some great friendships because of soccer, and
well, I was out your way last week. I was one of the judges for Dog Fest at Be More Humane. Oh, my God. Thousands of people there.
Yeah.
And the most beautiful animals. And my wife and I love our cat. We love Be More Humane. So give to them as well. I got my Dog Fest shirt. I'll be wearing that. We had a good time with Mindy Becerra out there, Greg Carpenter from Mix, and Maria Dennis, who's also a survivor with my wife. Maria and my wife got together, which made it a blessing. So we had a good time out on Nicodemus Road.
Very cool.
All right, Dog Fest, Crab Cake Tour. Going to be at Greenmount Station next week. Going to be at Dundalk at the Fountain at Drug City 2 weeks from now.
He might be sneaking out.
Oh, is he coming? Oh, here he comes. We were about to stop the show. See, too damn busy in the kitchen, making people happy, cooking food. What's up, man? How are you?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
All right.
What's going on?
He's nervous, man. You all right?
He's not nervous.
What are you
He's
slinging
working.
back here?
He's a little bit of everything.
Fighting the clock today.
Tell me these grilled wings he keeps telling me about. What's the secret?
Well, when we first opened the place, we didn't have any deep fryers.
All right.
So I started in the catering business, and that's kind of where they came from.
I love grilled wings.
Yeah.
They're tastier to me than because of the grease factor.
Twice baked and grilled, and then they're juicier, they're moister.
All right, what's in this crab cake? Are you going to tell me, or are you
I
going
told
to
him
lie
I wouldn't
to
give
me?
the secret recipe out.
The one thing I would say, because you weren't here, that I love a fried crab cake. And I understand the meat's too lumpy and juicy and delicate, and it's $55 a pound in Maryland and whatever. But the way you're doing it is you do it like fried on the bottom. It's a party on the bottom.
No, it's
and
broiled.
like
a lot of times fried crab cakes are back fin crab cakes. Jumbo lump crab cakes are broiled.
See this crispy on the bottom?
Yeah.
This is a fried component of the broiled crab cake. That crispy.
He likes the crisp.
I like the crispy underneath. So when you do it that way at a high heat, when I can crunch it,
exactly.
That's nice. Thank you.
Anything I'll tell you is crackers, not bread.
See, I got one of the secrets out.
See, I told him I wouldn't tell him anything.
You know, West Baltimore's bread. Greeks are bread. This side of town's a lot of crackers.
To me, I call this a country club crab cake. That would be the recipe. That it's slurry, a little wetter, not as dry, not Old Bay forward at all. Yeah. Doesn't have that salty flavor. It's more sweet and creamy, is what I would say. Is that fair?
Let the crab meat stand for itself.
Well, when the crab meat's this good, you do that, right?
Yeah. But a lot of if you use jumbo, it's a little different. Jumbo lump. If you use back fin, you get a different crab cake. Most people fry back fin crab cakes.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I grew up poor. All right, I wasn't out in Franklin. I was in Dundalk.
No, that's why I wasn't at Curly.
Well, East Baltimore, my mom, I didn't know of a back fin lump jumbo crab cake back in the day. Yeah. All I knew about was a fried hockey puck.
Yep.
That my parents would get the special meat,
yep.
Put a bunch of old whatever J.O., mix it all up, mustard, fry that thing, throw it out with some crackers, and that's a crab cake.
That was it.
I didn't know about this Gucci back fin jumbo lump and all that stuff, you know.
I was just a dishwasher. Grew up on Harford Road, man.
Is that where you learned?
Yeah.
Where were you dishwashing?
Jerry D's, Jerry Dotterwhite.
That's your background.
That's my background.
That's where you learned.
That's where I started.
I know you were with the Steel folks too, right?
Yeah, and I ran the record theater for almost 10 years also, concert business.
I had Brian and Paul on when they reopened after the plague.
Did you?
Because, it was when people were reopening, I wanted to go see a Rush cover band,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, I had a great run there. I had a great run. 10 years.
Little long grain rice. What are we doing here?
Little wild rice.
Please don't grab the ass of my chef. You can't do that on the air.
There's always one in every crowd. He's the one.
He just come to harass you?
Yeah, he's the one today.
Well, I'm wrapping the show up, so we're about done. You know what I'm going to do for your friend? Same thing I'm going to do for you. Maryland Lottery scratch-off ticket for being our guest on the program today.
Awesome.
Now watch, I'm going to give him the big winner. He's going to win the 20 grand.
You know how that's
Now,
that's how it happens.
I already gave him one.
Yeah, I got one, bro.
Are you 21? There you go. All right, just making sure. I'm not going to card you. On behalf of my pal JR and Sonny, Sonny, I called you Sonny.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I looked up and saw Sonny.
You can't do that.
Danny, Sonny's over there.
Sonny's over there.
Come visit the Sonny Askew jersey. When are you opening the tent for everybody for soccer?
It's going to be open for the first game, which is a Monday before Thanksgiving,
Monday the 20th, I think.
and the 20 Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving, is going to be our big event.
Yeah.
So
That's going to be the big bull and oyster roast.
Yep. Bull and oyster.
Bull and oyster, all you can eat, all you can drink.
Well, I'm letting you in. The crab cake tour is going to take a hiatus next year. I'm going to do 32 days of oysters.
There you go.
So I'm going to do an oyster thing at the end of next year. That's because the oysters are how we get the crab, right? The oysters and the oxygenation in the bay, the most important part of the crab.
That and the rockfish.
Well, I saw you wrapping some of those back there. You do a rockfish stuffed with crab here?
Yes, I do. This week I'm doing it as a special.
I can't eat anymore, dude. You brought me a lobster roll. You brought me crab
There's
cakes.
7 days a week. There's 30 days in a month. You can just keep coming back.
I don't even have space for the grilled wings.
That's
All
what
right.
I do.
Appreciate you, Dan.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming
Thanks,
out.
Nestor.
All right, I'm going to close this down. We're going to get some beers with some folks out here. We're in Kingsville. You don't have to take your headsets off. You're making noise. Stop all that. I'm Nestor. We're WNST AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. Back for more right after this.